For centuries, the moon stood as a silent guardian in the night sky, an uncharted world beyond reach. Civilizations across time gazed upward, weaving myths and legends about its origins, its power, and its mysteries. Some saw it as a celestial deity, others as a guiding force, but for the dreamers, the scientists, astronomers, and pioneers, it was a challenge waiting to be conquered. The question was no longer whether humanity would reach it, but when. The desire to break free from Earth's gravitational pull became more than just a fantasy. It became a mission that would push the limits of science, engineering, and human endurance. As technology progressed, so did the ambition to explore beyond the skies. The mid-20th century ushered in an era of unprecedented scientific advancement, marked by intense competition between the world's greatest powers. The space race between nations was more than just a pursuit of prestige, it was a testament to human ingenuity and determination. Governments poured resources into research, pushing scientists and engineers to create technology that had once been unimaginable. Every new satellite launch, every unmanned probe, and every breakthrough in rocket science edged humanity closer to its greatest endeavor yet. With each passing year, the dream of stepping onto the moon transformed from a distant aspiration into a tangible objective. Theories turned into blueprints, blueprints turned into machines, and machines turned into vessels capable of leaving Earth's atmosphere. Visionaries who once wrote about space travel in books and scientific journals now stood in laboratories, perfecting the calculations that would one day make it possible. It was no longer a question of desire but of execution. The world held its breath as the moment of truth approached, knowing that a single miscalculation could alter the course of history. Yet, despite the risks, the ambition remained unshaken. The moon was no longer just a celestial body in the sky, it was the next frontier, a symbol of human potential and perseverance. The dream had evolved into a global pursuit, igniting the imaginations of millions who longed to witness the impossible become reality. With minds set on the stars and hearts filled with determination, humanity stood at the brink of its most monumental achievement, ready to take the first step beyond the world it had always known. On the morning of July 16, 1969, the world turned its eyes to Kennedy Space Center. Excitement rippled through the crowd as the towering Saturn V rocket stood on the launch pad, a marvel of engineering poised for history. Inside the command module, 3 astronauts, Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins, sat strapped into their seats, surrounded by an array of switches, controls, and blinking lights. The countdown echoed across the launch site, each number bringing them closer to the unknown. Then, with an earth-shaking roar, the rocket ignited, lifting off in a fiery ascent, leaving behind a cloud of smoke and a world holding its breath. As Apollo 11 pierced through Earth's atmosphere, the immense power of human achievement became clear. Millions of spectators watched as the spacecraft climbed higher, gradually leaving the blue planet behind. Inside, the astronauts adjusted to the weightlessness of space, their movements slow and deliberate in the zero-gravity environment. Every system on board had been meticulously designed and tested, ensuring the success of their mission. The journey to the moon was not just a physical voyage but a demonstration of unwavering precision, where even the smallest miscalculation could alter the course of history. Traveling at nearly 25,000 miles per hour, Apollo 11 moved through the silent vastness of space, guided by decades of scientific progress. The spacecraft entered a precise trajectory, aligning itself for lunar orbit. Communication between the astronauts and mission control remained steady, with updates exchanged in careful, measured tones. The entire mission hinged on flawless execution, each maneuver calculated down to the finest detail. The silence of space was met with the hum of instruments, the occasional crackle of radio transmissions, and the unshakable focus of those who carried the hopes of humanity on their shoulders. For the crew, this journey was more than just a mission, it was a testament to human courage, vision, and the relentless pursuit of discovery. Every second aboard Apollo 11 represented years of dedication, sacrifice, and the collective effort of thousands who had worked tirelessly to make this moment possible. As the spacecraft pressed on toward its destination, the world below waited in awe, knowing that history was unfolding before their very eyes. The dream that once seemed distant was now within reach, and soon, humanity would take its first steps beyond Earth. 4 days after leaving Earth, Apollo 11 approached its defining moment. As the command module Columbia continued orbiting the Moon, the lunar module, aptly named Eagle, prepared to detach. Inside the confined space, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin ran final system checks, ensuring that every instrument functioned with absolute precision. The descent required nothing less than perfection. Every adjustment, every calculation had to be exact. A single misstep could mean failure, but years of training had led to this moment. With a final command, the Eagle separated, drifting away from Columbia, where Michael Collins remained, tasked with ensuring their safe return. As the lunar module began its descent, mission control in Houston remained in a state of intense focus. Data streamed in from the spacecraft, guiding engineers and scientists who monitored every movement. The Moon's surface, a silent and uncharted landscape, loomed closer with each passing second. Armstrong and Aldrin scanned their instruments, adjusting speed and trajectory, balancing between gravity's pull and the need for a controlled landing. Suddenly, an alert flashed, an unexpected computer alarm. Every heartbeat in mission control seemed to stop. But the astronauts remained composed, receiving a swift go-ahead from Houston to proceed. The mission pressed on, undeterred by the challenge. With less than a minute's worth of fuel remaining, Armstrong took manual control of the Eagle. The planned landing site, riddled with boulders, forced a last-second adjustment. Carefully, he guided the module to a smoother patch of terrain, eyes locked on the ground below. Dust swirled as the descent engine fired, slowing the craft's approach. The tension in mission control was unbearable. Across the world, millions watched in silence, waiting for confirmation of what would become one of the most defining moments in history. Then, at 2017 UTC, a voice crackled through the radio. "Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed." A wave of celebration swept across the planet. Applause erupted in mission control. Families cheered in their living rooms, and strangers embraced in the streets. The impossible had become reality. Mankind had reached the Moon, proving that ambition, courage, and innovation could carry humanity beyond the limits of Earth. The descent was over, but the most iconic moment of the mission was yet to come. As the hatch of the lunar module slowly swung open, the silence of the Moon remained unbroken. Beyond the threshold lay an untouched world, a vast and barren landscape that had remained unchanged for billions of years. Inside the cramped module, Neil Armstrong prepared for the moment that would define a generation. With deliberate movements, he descended the fragile ladder, his boots feeling the pull of lunar gravity for the first time. Every motion was slow and measured, a careful balance between caution and awe. The world held its breath, knowing that history was about to be made. Then, with one final step, Armstrong placed his foot onto the Moon's surface. The fine, powdery regolith compressed beneath his boot, leaving an imprint that would endure for eternity. His words, simple yet profound, echoed through radios across the Earth. "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." In that instant, human ambition transformed into reality. The dream that had once existed only in the minds of visionaries had now taken physical form. The Moon, once a distant beacon in the sky, had been touched by human hands. Buzz Aldrin soon followed, stepping onto the surface and describing its strange beauty as magnificent desolation. Together, they conducted experiments, planted a flag, and collected samples, each action a symbol of progress and exploration. Their footprints crisscrossed the dusty terrain, marking humanity's first physical presence beyond Earth. The vast emptiness of the lunar landscape stood in stark contrast to the celebrations taking place back home. Across continents, people gathered in awe, united by the sheer magnitude of the moment. In that moment, national boundaries faded, and humanity stood as one. The achievement belonged not just to the astronauts, nor to a single country, but to all who dared to dream. The first footprint on the Moon was more than a historical milestone. It was proof that determination, curiosity, and innovation could defy limits. As Armstrong and Aldrin continued their work, the world watched with pride, knowing that this was only the beginning. The moon had welcomed its first visitors, and the era of space exploration had truly begun. As the astronauts completed their mission on the moon's surface, every moment was carefully planned and executed. They gathered rock samples, set up scientific instruments, and captured images that would forever change humanity's understanding of the cosmos. The American flag, a symbol of human ingenuity and perseverance, stood firm in the lunar soil, untouched by wind or weather. Each step they took left imprints that would remain undisturbed for millennia, silent reminders of the day humanity reached beyond its home planet. With their tasks complete, it was time to prepare for the journey back, leaving behind both physical and symbolic marks that would stand the test of time. Reboarding the Eagle, Armstrong and Aldrin performed the final checks before launching back into lunar orbit. The ascent module ignited, propelling them away from the moon's surface and back toward the waiting command module, where Michael Collins remained in orbit. The reunion in space was seamless, a testament to the precision of engineering and the unwavering focus of those who had made the mission possible. As Apollo 11 began its return journey, the vastness of space stretched before them once more. Every mile traveled back to Earth carried the weight of history, proving that humanity's reach extended beyond the limits once thought unbreakable. 4 days later, as the spacecraft re-entered Earth's atmosphere, anticipation reached its peak. The command module blazed through the sky, its heat shield enduring the immense forces of re-entry. Then, with parachutes deploying against the open sky, Apollo 11 gently descended into the Pacific Ocean, where recovery teams awaited. The mission had been a success. The astronauts emerged not just as explorers, but as pioneers whose journey had forever altered the course of human history. The world celebrated their safe return, knowing that their achievement was more than just a moment. It was the foundation for the future of space exploration. Decades later, the legacy of Apollo 11 continues to inspire. The mission was not merely a technological triumph but a declaration of what humanity can achieve when driven by curiosity and determination. It paved the way for future explorations, from Mars rovers to deep space telescopes, each carrying forward the spirit of discovery. The first lunar landing proved that the impossible could be made possible, setting a precedent for generations to come. As long as there are stars in the sky, humanity will continue to dream, explore, and push beyond boundaries just as Apollo 11 did, leaving a legacy that transcends time itself. Thanks for tuning into the past. Don't forget to subscribe and join me for more stories that shaped our world.